Welcome back to the show. The intention of this episode, this is going to be a short one. And this is just, I want to share with you something that I've been experiencing recently. And I've experienced multiple times in the past. And I think it's just an interesting conversation that we need to have. So I'm hoping that I can share a reel or a TikTok that I recorded and published the other day, just because I was having this conversation with a gentleman, because I post a lot of content talking about my experience, talking about how I was able to go from a place where my doctor said to me, "You're going to be in a wheelchair in the next 6 months," to the point where I've been symptom-free for 8 years. And the pushback that I hear often is like, do you have any proof? Have you gone to your doctor? Have you been able to get an MRI that says that you no longer have lesions? And I replied to the gentleman and said, I never said that. I did go to my doctor and I asked, is there a difference? Are you seeing improvement on my MRI the last couple of times, actually, that I went to see my neurologist? And he said, we don't look for that. They only tell me if things have gotten worse. So I can't answer that for you. And in my experience, I made the choice that I wasn't going to obsess over a perfectly clean MRI because my quality of life was back. I was no longer living with the symptoms that I was living with. And if you can shift your perspective and focus on what do I want? What's the outcome that I want from this? It's amazing what can show up for you. I was a person in the past that didn't think natural options were something that was worthwhile, that was worth pursuing. And so for me to go from that place of thinking medicine is the only answer, you go to the doctor's going to fix you, and getting to the point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. The meds were making me sick. And I've heard story after story of other people where it's a similar situation. And often when you go to your doctor, there can be pushback if you challenge things, if you question things. And so this is why I share content as much as I do, because I want people to know that you can get a second opinion. You can look for other options. It's not about telling your doctor, I think you're an idiot. I would never do that. Medicine has a very useful place and we need it. But in my opinion, medicine is meant for emergencies. And a lot of the reason that people can be dealing with chronic health problems that become even bigger is because that chronic health problems are mishandled. They're treated like acute problems and the medication can just break your system down. I've had great conversations with people as a result of that, where it's just like, hey, can you tell me more? Or what did you do? And I'm more than happy to have those conversations because I don't think I went through my MS journey for no purpose. I can't look back and think I suffered for almost a decade, actually more than a decade, and there wasn't a reason. And so if I can use the experiences that I've had and everything that I've learned throughout the process and share that with people to potentially help them, I think that's part of the why. That's part of why I'm on this planet. I look at things from the perspective of, I don't think I'm just here to live to the age of 80 and then go on to the next phase. I think there's a reason. And so anyways, this gentleman a couple days ago, he's been multiple replies and messages on my TikTok, which I understand. Everyone, you're entitled to have whatever opinion, whatever belief that you have. And I was someone who didn't have the beliefs that I have now in the past. And that was part of what was causing suffering in my life. And so when someone comes in and it's very clear that they don't think, feel, believe the same things that I do, I'm just hoping that maybe some perspectives will shift. And it was interesting because it brought forth a lot of people who were in favor of the natural approach, who were in favor of questioning what medicine has to offer. And so that was really powerful. It's hard stuff can bring together a collection of people who are like, I've got your back. I agree with you. And people shared their experience. But I wanted to share with you the response or the reply that I created, and then I'll talk a little bit more about that after. So apparently I triggered someone with a recent post that I shared talking about MS and autoimmune and how there are natural solutions. I used to be the person who was trust the science, and if there's something that's going to solve this problem for me, my doctor's going to find it. I was a girl who thought everything, nutrition, natural solutions, or my experience, I was just possible to help you If nutrition was something that could help me, my doctor would have told me. And I've lived in that place for a long time until I got to the point where I've been kind of mishandled and screwed over by medicine enough times. I almost died multiple times because medical complications and doctors just not listening and not paying attention to what I was dealing with, what I was bringing them in terms of information. And I've had lots of clients who have been in the same place. In this past week, I had a new client come to me and she said, I went to my doctor because I'm dealing with fatigue. My doctor said, oh, that's not important. Or I'm dealing with pain, which doctor said, oh, you're just drug seeking. And these are the kind of stories we hear from people all of the time in clinical practice. Medicine will often look at you. They either don't believe you or they aren't looking deeper. They aren't figuring out what's causing the stuff that you're dealing with, what's causing your health challenges. And if you're not addressing the hole in the boat's just going to keep leaking. And it's no different when it comes to your health. We need to dig deeper. We need to figure out what's the cause, the underlying issue that's making your immune system hyperreactive. Because if we don't do that, you're never going to actually get better. I was the girl who used to walk around and try to explain to people what it was like to live with MS. I used to pull out spoons all the time to explain why I had no energy, why I couldn't do things. And I had just accepted that MS was a part of who I was, that it was going to be a part of who I was for the rest of my life, that there was nothing I could do about it. Everything my doctor said to me, I had just accepted it until I realized, wait a minute, there's something else that I can do. There's something else going on here. The medicine is not helping me. I took the disease modifying drugs for 7 years and my quality of life faded away. At 29 years old, my doctor said, you're going to be in a wheelchair in the next 6 months. 29 years old. And that was part of what shifted my belief and my understanding of like, I need to question my beliefs and I need to look for other options because continuing to allow your quality of life to disappear was not something I was willing to accept. And so I did look for other options. Yeah, nutrition, detox, there was a lot of other things that I did for myself and that has now helped hundreds of clients do that's helped them feel better as well. So if you're in that place where you're not ready to look for something else, you're not ready to dig deeper, that's your choice. That's your path. I completely support that. You can do whatever feels right for you, but there are going to be people that are going to try different things. And my goal is to help them realize that there are other options. So this is just a short clip of what I was sharing on TikTok. It's a little bit longer than that. And basically just saying like my intention here is not to hurt anyone or to put anyone down. It's just I share things because I want to be the person who I was looking for when I was at the place where I was like, medicine has failed me. And now what do I do? It can be a dark place, a scary place. It can be a very lonely place, especially if you start to realize I was in a lot of support groups at the time. And when I started to look for other options, I realized exactly what those support groups were there for. And they weren't the support that I thought they were. They were there to support me in staying sick. And when I started to do things that helped me get better, I was kicked out of every single one of those groups. So I want to be the person who's here for someone who's like, there's got to be other options. And what do I do? And so if that's you, if this resonates with you, if you know someone who's at a place where they're like, I have to find something else, I would be more than happy to have a conversation. We have a webinar coming up next Wednesday, so the 23rd at 7 p.m., talking about natural things you can start doing to help your body with autoimmune, things you can do from a root cause perspective, because if you don't fix the problem under the surface, you're just going to keep chasing symptoms. You're just going to keep having to bail the boat out and you're not actually going to get better. And so I have some great things that I'm going to share with you next week on Wednesday that are like easy things you can start doing today. And then beyond that, while I know there will be people that are looking for help on a deeper level, that's something I can definitely help you with as well. So if you're someone who is looking to get to the root cause of your health issues, to find out what is going on, why are you sick? Why are you not getting better? That's where root cause assessment is a really good place to start. So if any of this resonated with you, Or if you would like some more information, I will put our website in the show notes. I'm going to put the link to sign up for the webinar in the show notes as well. And I hope that you'll join me. If any of this is interesting to you, if you're starting to have questions or you're starting to wonder if what you're doing is the best option or if there are other things you can do. I'm never going to tell someone come off your medication, but what can we do to support your body while you potentially work towards that or decide to continue on it? There are still things we can do while you're on medication. I was on the MS, the disease modifying drugs, for 4 years when I was already doing natural things for myself. And a lot of why I didn't come off sooner, I was going through a pretty rough breakup and just not in a place in my life where I felt comfortable, I felt supported. And there's a lot of fear around it because you can go through, I experienced the doctor saying to me, basically, if you come off that medication, you could die. And so I was scared of that. And so I didn't come off it for a really long time. And finally, I got to a place where I'd met the person who would end up being my spouse. We've been married for 5 years now. And I just had this sense of safety and security and was like, I need to try something. And so I did take myself off my medication and have been off it completely and symptom-free since 2016. So if you have questions, if you're curious, I offer a free discovery call as well. But a really good place to get started would be sign up for the webinar. Come check out some of the big root causes that we commonly see with clients, especially when there's autoimmune things going on. And we're going to share some easy tips of things you can start doing today that will make a big difference for you. So hopefully you found this quick episode. It wasn't as quick as I was planning, but hopefully you found this episode valuable. And we will see you on the next one.